Hello everyone. Today we're going to discuss on a new topic, and today's topic is called joints. Now this word joints is quite familiar to us. We have used these joints in various purposes, but today we are going to discuss the joints of our body. So let us begin. So the first we'll be discussing about what are joints and how these joints are useful in our body. So first of all, let us know what is joints. Now as we know that we are able to bend or rotate our body in places where two parts of our body seem to be joined together, and these are called joints. Say for example, elbow, neck, shoulder. So this we are able to bend or rotate or move properly only because of the joints that are present at those points or at those parts of our body. Let us see. So this is the elbow movement. So as you can see there is a joint. If you see with the help of the cursor, here there is a joint. And due to this joint, we can move our elbow. And this position is called elbow. We can move our arm properly. So as you can see, there is a joint between these two bones. Next, the movement of the neck from side to side is possible because there is a joint here as well, just between our spinal cord and the skull. So there is a joint. Next, we can move front and back as well due to that same joint that is present between our skull and the spinal cord. Clear? So these are the different kinds of joints that we'll be discussing further in this video, and how these joints are really helpful for the body movements. Clear? So let us see. Now next is the hard structures of our body are called bones. Now we all know our body's framework, or you can say our body's structure, is maintained with the help of the structures called bones. Now bones are very hard structures. We cannot bend our bones. If we try to bend our bones, then we might have a fracture in those bones. So how can we move them? We can move our body or bend our body with the help of these joints which are present in between the bones. And these joints, they help us to move freely our body, and as a result of which we can do various activities through these different parts of our body. So there are different types of joints in our body that help us to carry out different movements and different activities throughout. So next, let us move on. The first kind of joint is ball and socket joint. Now before understanding this ball and socket joint, let us discuss about an activity that is given in your textbook. So say if you make a cylindrical, let me show you the figure. So this figure, on the right hand side, if you see a figure, so here we have made a cylindrical pipe-like structure, okay, which you can make with the help of a paper also, or the chart paper. So this is cylindrical structure which we have made, or if you have any such solid cylindrical structure, you can make use of that as well. Then what we did, we have fixed it to a ball, a plastic ball you can say, and then we have put it inside a bowl. So this is a bowl. Clear? And then if you try to rotate it, what will be the rotation? You can move it sideways, you can rotate it completely. As you can see in the direction given, you can move up and down, you can move sidewise, as well as you can rotate it completely. Clear? So similar is this ball and socket joint that is present in our body. It is actually a smooth joint with a hemispherical head. Now hemispherical head means this ball, although inside our body there is no ball, but if you consider this as a bone and this as another bone, then this hemispherical bone, you can say, which is actually a cavity in a bone. Cavity means it's a hole-like structure. So this hemispherical bone, it fits within this cup-like depression, and it is called a ball and socket joint. Means if we fit a bone inside another bone's cavity or a hole, and it fits so perfectly that we can easily rotate it, or we can bend it or move it sidewise, upwards, in every direction, then such kind of a joint is called a ball and socket joint. Clear? Now this type of joints help in rotational or circular movement, as one of the bone is captivated into the hollow space of another bone. So as I said a while ago, that one bone is fit inside the cavity or the hole of another bone, and as a result of which we can freely move in any direction, say it is in a rotational motion or in a circular motion or even the sidewise motion or up and down motion, we can easily move it because one bone is fit inside the cavity of another bone. Clear? So as you can see, the hip bone. So this is the hip bone. As you can see, the hip position. So we can move. As you can see, there is a cavity. If you closely see the figure, there is a cavity here. There is a hole here. And in that hole, this another bone is fitted. So this is a ball and socket joint. So as a result of which, we can easily move our legs sidewise, front and back. Okay. So we can easily move our legs because of this ball and socket joint. Clear? Although there are other joints also available, you can see here at the knee position there is another joint which we will be discussing in the video. So other than that, if we connect this hip and the leg portion, so there is a joint here at the hip, and that joint is called the ball and the socket joint. Clear? Now where else this ball and the socket joint are available? Now this ball and socket joint are available at our shoulders as well, to connect our shoulder and the arm, as well as at the hip position, as you can see in the figure. So this ball and socket joint, it helps in the free movement of our arms and legs, and it helps to connect with the rest of our body through the help of this ball and socket joint. Clear? Now next, let us discuss about another kind of a joint that is called the pivotal joints. So these pivotal joints are also very important kind of joints because this is connected to the main parts of our body. So let us see where it is connected. So pivotal joints permit rotatory motion of the bones around a single axis. That means it is connected to a particular bone which can be considered as an axis. So around the axis, the joints move in a rotatory motion. So let us see where are the joints present. Pivotal joint is a joint in which the ends of two bones connect. In this joint, a cylindrical shaped bone rotates inside another ligament that forms a ring around the joint. So these things will be clear to you once you see the figure. Another thing is given here. The rotation of the skull is possible because of pivotal joints. The twisting movement of the bones of the forearms against the upper arm is due to pivotal joints. So let us see the figure, then it will be more clear to you. Here, as you can see, the skull is connected to our what is called the spinal cord through a joint called pivotal joint. Now, as you can see, our skull is cylindrical in shape. Our spinal cord is cylindrical in shape, and it is connected to a cavity inside our what is called skull. So in this way, the skull is connected to the spinal cord, and the joint, such kind of a joint is called a pivotal joint, and this kind of joint helps us to move our body parts in a rotatory fashion. We can rotate our skull on the sidewise, front and back. Clear? So this is possible with the help of these pivotal joints. Now, pivotal joints are also present in the bones of our forearms. So as a result of which, we can move our hands in any direction. Although backwards we cannot, but we can move the forearms with the help of these pivotal joints. We can rotate our forearms. The forearms are the hand positions. The hand is connected to the arm through these pivotal joints. Clear? Now let us move on to our next joint. It is called hinge joint. Now what is hinge joint? Now before understanding hinge joint, first let us understand what is hinge. Now as we know, in the door is connected to the frame with the help of the hinges. So what is hinge? Let me show you the figure. This is a hinge. This metallic part, as you can see here in the figure, this is the hinge. It connects the door with the frame. Clear? So similarly, there are also some hinges. Those are present in our body. Or you can say it acts like a hinge. The movement is similar to that of a hinge. So let us see. Hinge joint is a kind of a joint which is found between two bones that move against each other, like joints of limbs. For example, shoulder, hip, elbow, and knee. Now here the hinge joints are found. Now hinge joint, they generally are two bones which move against each other. Clear? And these two bones are connected by another bone. Say for example, in the case of the knee. In the knee, there is something called a kneecap. So there are actually two bones, and it is connected by a kneecap, which helps to keep the two bones in alignment. And then we can move our legs front and back, or we can bend our legs with the help of this hinge joint. Similarly, in the elbow portion also, we can move our elbow, which is a connection of two bones, and we can move our elbow front and back with the help of this hinge joint. So a hinge joint is defined as the joint between two bones that allows the movement only in one plane. Yes, one plane means we can move either front and back, but we cannot move it in a sideways direction. In the sideways, it doesn't bend much. So only in one plane we can bend our bones. Say for example, human fingers. If you bend your fingers, we can bend it only front and back. We cannot bend it sideways, can we? No. Toes, elbows, knees and ankles also have hinge joint. So here is one example you can see. This is the knee. As you can see, we can bend our knee. So it is possible because of the hinge joint. Just like in the door, as I said, we can open the door and close the door. Isn't it? We cannot move the door sideways. Similarly, here also, the hinge joint, we can move our leg front and back, or we can bend it. But can we move it sideways? No. So this is the work of a hinge joint. Next, fixed joints. Now, the name itself is said fixed. That means we cannot move it, or it is immovable. So let us see what kind of joints are fixed joints. Now fixed joints are the immovable joints that are found where bones are not flexible. In such kind of joints, bones have been fused together in such a way that they are fixed to that part, most commonly to create a structure. Means the fixed joints, there is very less movement, as it is connected to the main structure, and as a result of which these joints, they move very less, or you can say they are almost immovable. Say for example, the skull joints, the bones that are present in our skulls, can we move them? No. Although there are joints in the skull, but the bones are fused together, means they are connected together in such a way that they hardly ever move. That means they are immovable, although there are joints. Say for example, another example if we give, the upper jaw portion. Other examples are the upper jaw. There are two jaws, the lower jaw and the upper jaw. We can move the lower jaw only. We cannot move the upper jaw. Similarly, the rib cage, the backbone, the pelvic bone. These are some examples of fixed joints. We cannot move, isn't it? Although the backbone is quite flexible, but we cannot totally bend it or rotate it. If we try to do that, it will cause us a fracture. Similarly, the rib cage. The rib cage is fixed to the spinal cord or the backbone, you can say. Although our body can completely move, but the position of the rib cage remains as it is. Clear? So as you can see in the figure, the skull portion, there are different kinds of bones that are present in our skull. So these are immovable joints. They are connected by joints, but those are immovable. They cannot be moved. Similarly here, the upper jaw portion, as I said, it doesn't move. Only the lower jaw portion moves. This lower jaw, it moves. Upper jaw, it doesn't move at all, although it is connected by some joints. Clear? So this was all about the different kinds of joints that is given in your book. So we'll be discussing further in our next video about the different structures of the bones, the different bones that are available in our body. So I hope you all have understood today the discussion on joints. So that's it then for today. Thank you and have a nice day.